Back at Coventry, the build is behind schedule, but work has started on the cockpit instruments.
You need to see that, boy. If you want to see what fuel level you've got in each tank, just turn the knob. Right-hand main, left-hand main. How tricky is that?
Original wartime parts are being sourced from all over the world.
And with all these shackles, I mean, these are being dug out of French fields. And then we've got the tow rope. Nylon rope had only just come out. It's got communication wires threaded through the centre. You see, in the middle of the bloody road.
A tow rope, because after Dakotas had dropped their paratroopers on D-Day, they would make a second journey over Normandy, towing gliders behind them.
It's all right dropping paratroopers off, you know, like a stick of 12 that's jumped out. You know, they could be spread, at the best, over 100 metres, you know, at the worst, over miles. If you're dropping them in a glider, we could keep the force united, you see. That carry 25 men, right? So we could have fuel in there, we could have a jeep in there, and we could have artillery in there, like a big gun, so we could do some damage. Like the Horser, what this was towing, right, it's the size of a bloody Lancaster bomber.
These wooden giants were flown by some of the Air Force's true mavericks.
We'd volunteered for something dangerous. We were not to be disappointed. The Horse was a masterpiece, really. I would hazard the guess that it was the best glider that any country turned out during the war.
You've got to keep it in line with your tug plane. You can't go up too high, otherwise you pull his nose down, because you lift his tail up. You've got to keep bang on all the time. There are two ways you can land a glider. You can glide in nice and gently, or you can stick the nose down and dive like hell and get down as fast as you can.
With no armour or weapons, you chose a steep, fast landing if you were being shot at.
As we flew in, there was a line of tracer came up in front of me. Now, that was a chap aiming at me who was a very bad aimer. You're completely defenceless, you're at the mercy of the gods. I was landing with a tailwind of about 27 knots, which is not the way to land. I could see some trees coming up, so I slammed it down on the deck and, in so doing, dinged in the nose wheel. So when ultimately we came to a halt, we were distinctly nose heavy, with the tail up in the air. We all walked out.
The explosives carried in Laurie's glider would be used by paratroopers to blow up Troarn Bridge on the eastern flank.
I didn't know it was the most important bridge at the time, but I'm not letting anybody forget it now.
It wasn't just a one-trick pony. You could use the glider again.
You had your tow rope on your glider, and the end of the tow rope was a huge circle supported on some poles. And the Dakota particularly was good at this, and it would come in as about, well, 0 feet pretty well, with a hook, and catch onto this circle, and the glider pilots would suddenly get jerked like that. It was absolutely incredible.
There are now 6 weeks left before Guy's parachute jump. He's back in Coventry to find out if the plane that he's been helping rebuild is going to be ready on time.
You all right? She's not looking good, boys. You best come and have a look. Come on. Come on. Right.
It's a bit of a way off, isn't it, to fair? It's
not going to be ready.
It's fair to say it's not going to be ready. It's been a huge project and a huge undertaking, but, you know, we wouldn't have sat here and said it was going to be ready for June if we genuinely didn't think it was going to be ready for June. But It's all the detail.
Go on, what are we talking about?
I mean,
You know, that's cost you a week here and 2 weeks there and 3 weeks here. You know, go on.
oh, there's lots of things really. I mean, corrosion has been the biggest problem with this aircraft. I mean, you know, it's got something like 90,000 flying hours on this airframe.
90,000 hours?
90,000 flying hours. So, you know, you pull the fuel tanks out, it's all corroded. It's not a 5-minute job to replace sections of skin. You know, it takes longer than you think, and we've probably been victims of our own perfectionism a little bit, and that's cost us time and money and everything else that goes with it. But, of course, you get that sinking feeling that you're not going to be taking it to the 75th.
I'm not disappointed because they're being true to the original plan of absolute perfection. So I'd rather it be this way. Yeah. I'd rather it was right than ready. So go on, right. I'd still like, and these boys would jump out of a Dakota.
So you need to jump out, don't you? So we need to find another C-47, don't we, really?
How could that possibly happen?
There's a EC3 air show C-47 community out there, so I think if we called in a favour or two...
you think it could happen?
I think we could make that happen,
right,
yeah.
okay.
We've got to get you to jump out, haven't we? So we'll find you an aircraft, and it'll be the same. We'll take off and we'll chuck you out the back.
Right.
So,
thank you very much, Charlie. Thank you.
no worries.
Guy needs to hope that, just as in 1944 when the Allies could rely on a seemingly endless supply of American-built equipment, another plane will always be available.